Well, hello and welcome back to Read Becca. It's time for my monthly library treasure hunt. For this project, I dive into the shelves of my local library and try to find those hidden gems that just don't have the hype and aren't really getting talked about here on BookTube. So for March, in honor of Middle Grade March, I decided to select a middle grade book, The Great Phoenix of London by Lindsay Galvin. This book, at the time of recording, has 69 ratings and 7 reviews with a 4.1 average rating. So it's certainly an underrated book. Going into this, I knew this was from the publisher Chicken House, who is an indie publisher of children's works. And I don't think I've ever read from them before, but I had heard about them through Jack over at Spreadbook Joy, who does focus on children's and juvenile literature quite a bit. And so I would recommend checking out Jack's channel if you are interested in more middle grade options. But I had that sort of trusted reviewer endorsement of this publisher. And so I went in with good expectations, and I think they lived up to those expectations because I enjoyed this book very, very much and intend to pursue reading more of Galvin's work because certainly the author touched on a use of history in storytelling that I enjoyed the balance of so much. So in this book, we are in the mid-1600s, starting in 1664 with a meteor shower. And so there's this exciting big historical event, and it's viewed as kind of a portent of things to come. And we're with Gil, a young boy, out with his family, enjoying the event, when they find a strange rock and take it home from this event. Now jump a couple of years to 1666. We're in the lead up to the Great Fire of London, which is obviously the focus of this book. But in the in-between time, a lot has happened in that year and a half. We've had a Great Plague. So very much is happening. There's major historical events proceeding through this story and being woven in really, really nicely. So because of the plague, we're seeing through Gil's eyes and through his emotions the sense of loss that he has over his own personal losses, but at the same time, his whole community has been affected by the plague. And to see through his eyes just how much affected he is in his day-to-day life, the things he misses about people he's lost, it's really emotional without going to a melodramatic place. In the lead up to the fire, it feels like normalcy is kind of just being reestablished. And then this fire breaks out and it's running rampant through the city. No one knows where to go. And there is a certain aspect of classism with the upper classes basically just being able to leave and the lower classes having nowhere to go. There is a really nuanced conversation there, including the imprisonment of people who have nowhere to go just simply because they don't have a place to go. And I love the ways that this is incorporating real history, but it also has that fantastical element of, obviously, the phoenix. So if you're an adult, you can probably figure out right away that the rock that they found at the beginning was, in fact, a phoenix egg. And it being in this situation where we've got fire all around is the spark that sets off hatching this egg. And so Gil, our main character, winds up with this secret phoenix hiding, carrying it along with him, and it's growing faster than he can even contain it, just absurdly quickly. It seems somewhat intelligent, but also a little silly, perfect for a children's book. And the dynamic between Gil and this phoenix is great. So I think that fantastical element does a wonderful job of making this whimsical and wonderful in a very heavy setting and story, and really keeping a kid pulled along with the storytelling. But at the same time, I would say that for me, this is a story that brings the history alive so well that I think this is a great example of something that can show a child how reading about real history is fascinating and can be exciting and full of adventure, because without the phoenix element, I think this would still be a very, very strong book. So much about this could have been very dry and boring. I never would have thought that a book that includes Samuel Pepys in a children's book would work without being super dull. But it's not. Samuel Pepys shows up in the story as a character in cameo somewhat, but Samuel Pepys famously wrote these very detailed and thorough diaries of the time. And so his diary entries are peppered throughout the book and really lend a sense of immense realism to this story, along with some other authors' quotes throughout. And so I feel like this was very layered and nuanced in giving us a children's work that's also exploring issues of the time. One major thing that I loved about this so much is that on top of all of those other historical elements that I've mentioned, we also have the underlying very anti-French sentiment that was of the time. And very smartly, I think, the author has chosen to make Gil be a character who was born in England, but his mother is a French immigrant. And so we're in his head as we're seeing him experience those anti-French sentiments from even his close friends and how he internalizes those. At no point does the book get up on a soapbox and kind of monologue at us about that topic. It's just simply showing us, yeah, this is a really hurtful thing to do for someone who is your friend. They don't want to hear that, and this is the way it impacts them. And I feel like demonstrating that directly for a child is something that they're going to be able to process a lot easier and better than being told the message that you want to give them. And so I feel like this book handled delivering messages like that really in an artful and age-appropriate way. So I absolutely 100% feel that The Great Phoenix of London was a underrated and hidden gem that certainly belongs in my treasure box this month. So with that, I will say I hope you have a wonderful week in reading and in life, and thank you so very much for watching.